at a time when we're all preparing for this massive winter storm to come through. There may be one thing many people are forgetting.
If you can stay home and not have to travel, please do not travel.
Millions of holiday travelers may be at considerable risk tonight as a winter storm is
through
building
the Midwest,
on track
and
to
we
become
could
what
be looking at
forecasters
blizzard
call a bomb
conditions.
cyclone, a rapidly intensifying storm that will target the Great Lakes region, including cities like Chicago, Milwaukee, and Grand Rapids, with blizzard conditions just 3 days before Christmas.
I'm going to spend all night working on this. While working on this, just made my heart melt. My milkweed plants, I know they won't tolerate 20-degree weather. Well, even worse than that, because I know they'll come back from the roots. There's so many Monarch caterpillars all over it. You may wonder why this is so significant. It's because the monarch butterfly is finally deemed an endangered species. You see, the monarchs have one of the most epic migrations of any butterfly or animal for that matter. The sheer volume of monarchs in those epic migrations is what took us so long to realize that the monarch species was declining. And I just hope with all my heart that it's not too late for this species. Homo sapiens have already watched the passenger pigeon's massive migrations dwindle down to an extinct species. And we really just don't know how many Jenga blocks we can pull from the tower before the whole tower comes toppling down. That alone gave me the motivation to work extra hard in preserving the monarch species, as well as any other endangered, protected, or just general wildlife I could. The monarch's migration covers the entire continental United States and Canada, down into Mexico. That means that it takes a whole team of us conservationists to preserve a species like this. I just want to do my part here in Florida. To protect the milkweed in 20-degree weather, I had very few options. This was the only viable option. I had to dig the plants up and bring them indoors. I knew it was going to be hard. After doing it, it was really easy. And it's going to be so worth it to watch at least 10 or 15 monarch caterpillars move to their next phase of metamorphosis and turn into the monarch butterfly, and do our little part to help restore the monarch's historic range. One of the most beautiful migrations in the animal kingdom, a migration that's threatened by habitat loss, pesticides, and simply plant some milkweed in your garden. It's simple. I'll give you an update on this video as soon as we find out how these monarch caterpillars, milkweed plants, fared through Winter Storm Elliot. Florida really is a important part of the cycle of the monarch migration. When it's super cold in the winter like right now, or there's extreme storms with potential of bomb cyclones, Florida may be the only breeding ground that produces enough monarch offsprings to support a thriving population of monarch. And while obviously winter storms are a natural part of the ecosystem, I think that it's small microclimates and niches that help protect and preserve these species in situations that may not be so natural, like the loss of habitat they've suffered. I ran a tally to see just how many monarch caterpillars I came up with, and the more I looked, it was hard to keep track. It's like zebra in a field, and ironically, just like zebra, these individual specimens have no chance on their own. It takes the whole pack to survive through some of these most traumatic times. Because a black and white striped zebra in a brown field is not for camouflage. It's for confusion, which really doesn't relate to the monarch at all, but it is an interesting analogy when you consider that they both depend on the whole pack to thrive. And I just want to replace the word pack with herd, but also not in the case of the monarch butterfly, because I don't know what you call a pack of monarch butterflies. I guess it'd be more like a swarm or an epic migration. Sit back and watch 20 monarchs that are endangered.